Rich, I love you. Yeah, buddy.
Yeah.
Big surprise that. I bet you people weren't expecting to see you here.
That's right. Fancy
But
seeing me here.
But welcome. Yeah, it's good to see you, man. How you been?
I've been all right. How have you been?
I've never been better, to be frank. I've been very good. Feel good.
Excellent.
Everything is great. Just got home, started up a stream. We went from 12 to 8 viewers. So we're losing viewers. Not sure if we said anything to offend anybody, but come back. Come back. It's good to see you, my friend. How you been?
I've been okay. I was a little bit unwell over the weekend, but apart from that, I've been okay. The weather is getting warmer here, which is ominous. So I have deployed my portable air conditioning unit, which is exceptional. This now means, technically, that I can wear my autumn and winter fragrances indoors in the middle of spring and summer, but I'm not going to do that. But I could have I wanted to. You know?
We've got 2 scent of the days La Douleur Exquise. Thank you very much.
Outrageous.
Yeah, and actually 3, including myself, I went with La Douleur. Even though I've been wearing a lot of Chanel lately, like not lately, but in the last week, I've been wearing a lot of Chanel exclusives. But today I was like, I ain't going back to La Douleur. It was a little bit damper outside, a little bit chillier. So it wore a little bit differently today. I saw a new facet of it. But yes, thank you, everybody. Paige Styles is here.
Nice.
Serapio Silva, good to see you. Jealous of those wearing La Douleur Exquise. AW, hello fellows. 2 sprays of Egoiste in the heat. Where's my bottle?
Egoiste in the heat. Thick, big, rich, sweet, a little bit sweet. Do you get much sweetness from Egoiste?
I can, yeah. There's that cinnamon. There's the vanilla. Yeah, there's almost like a candied rose in there. Something is candied without being sugary. There is an amount of sweetness that I'm perfectly okay with.
Yeah.
Stefan, Roberto. Why aren't my comments clicking? Roberto, this is the best alarm clock to wake up to this morning. Where are you watching from? Because we are 5 p.m., 5:15 Toronto time.
Yeah, it's like 10. It's like 10 o'clock at night. Yeah,
right.
I'm ready to get into bed.
Hello, stream team.
Stream team.
The website. You know, I'm expecting for them to be here in about a week's time, maybe a week exactly. So I am going to have to do something quickly. Might even do like a very small, quiet pre-launch or something. I don't know. We'll see. I'm still working on the website. I've ordered boxes and packaging and tissue and all that stuff. So things are coming. They're coming really good. The website is kind of the biggest thing that I'm working on right now. But thank you. Yelena Markovic says, hi, Eugene and Rich. Pradeep says, Luca Torn responded. No, I've sent Luca samples of all 3 perfumes. The address was the address that they provided is weird. My post office didn't accept it because there's no postal code to it. So we had to manually do it. And I've tried emailing him and asking him if this is correct, but I've gotten no response. So just kind of have to hope that they get to him. I hope that they do. Can we get a quick rundown of that deleted 6-hour stream? Yes, I said something offensive, and I took it down on my own. Good evening, Nick. Hello. Smoke C in Nobile 26.
Outrageous.
Like Khan for hot. Yeah, it's like having somebody shit on your head, wouldn't it be? Hey, Rich.
Having someone shit on your head, I do get shit from it, I must admit. It's a big pooey musk for me. I'm not a massive fan of. If I could get a vintage bottle, I would just buy it. To be fair, any of those old Surgeon Ton bottles, if they ever come up, I just tend to buy them if they're not silly prices.
Yeah.
Anything around £100 for those vintage bottles is a good deal for me. So I tend to pick them up. But
I would
there
agree.
is to give you an idea of what those bottles are actually going for now. There is a bottle, a half full bottle. So you're talking 25 ml, if that, probably more like 20 ml, on eBay right now of Musk's Kublai Khan, and they want £215 for it.
For a 50 ml original bottle?
It's not a 50 ml, it's half full.
Do you know, I paid an outrageous amount for my Moose Kublai Khan, and I think I got it from the other side of the world. It came from very far, Indonesia or Australia or something.
Wow.
And I think I paid close to 300 Canadian for mine over
Woof.
5 years ago.
Wow.
Hmm.
Over 5 years ago.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Easily 5 plus.
Outrageous.
But
That
I
is
think that's the old classic Shiseido bottle.
yeah, the Palais Royal.
Yeah.
Mental.
Smells like horsehair. Rudy's in the house. What's up, Rudy?
Yo, Rudsky.
Rudsky. Bobby O, good to see you. A lot of the regulars here. Smoke C. Mika.
Smoke C. Smoke C. Did you get my email address? Me and Smoke C might be about to do a deal.
Good. For what? Jonathan's in the house. Shoutouts. On average, Joe is here. Good to see you, man.
Hello, Joe. So, Smoke C is interested in buying my vintage Draco Noir. I have a Cosmere bottle. And, yeah, I'd be happy to sell it. If it goes to a good home, I'm sure Smoke C would look after it.
Rudy trying to get rid of his 100 ml of MKK, and it says it's not for him.
Yeah, I can totally understand how somebody could say the MKK isn't for them. It's not an easy fragrance to like, but it's one of those ones that when people do like it, they love it, and they're willing to pay. They're willing to pay for it. You know, I'm trying to think of. I mean, basically all those old Sergitons are like that, but some of them, like Fila Nagil and Musk Kublai Khan, those ones, Borneo 1834, all of those go for fucking crazy prices now.
They're impossible to find. I don't even see them for sale anymore.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, they're at the point now where they're literally just like they don't appear anymore. I remember a long time ago. It was on a stream with I don't think it was you and Christo. I think it was just Christo by himself. And was it Christo or was it Robes? It was one of the two, and it was like, oh, I want to buy. I said to them a long time ago, I want to buy like a bottle of Borneo 1834. How is it? And they were like, well, do you like patchouli? And I was like, yeah. And they were like, well, you love Borneo 1834, but don't pay outrageous prices for it. And I'm telling them, this was like 5 years ago. Do you know what I mean? So the prices were outrageous even then.
Right. Yeah, it's been a while. They've been going for a while, but they've been holding their own pretty good. Somebody was asking about, do you think, Gergo is asking, do you think Fianagi is a good fragrance? I know Rich loves it, and I think he loves it a little bit more than I do. I think it's good, but like Rich was talking to Nuit de Feu the other day for incense and that style, I prefer Nuit de Feu to Fianagi. I find Fianagi just a little bit too sweet for my liking.
I think it's more of a pine resin sort of fragrance. It's got incense, definitely. It's got that sort of smoky pine foresty sort of thing going on. I really enjoy it. I don't think that it's worth the prices that some people are going for. Some people are asking for now. Like I said, I mean, you can get the Graziel bottles, and like you can get twice as much for less than half the price if you just want to smell the fragrance. It's not quite as refined or as sharp as the old one, but you get most of the experience. It's just people. Serge Lutens is a little bit culty, you know. Those
Yeah.
old 50 ml bottles are they're like gold dust, and people will just pay through the nose for them.
Sure, one of the original niche houses.
Yes, that's right.
Anuj in the house. Speaking of houses, Anuj in the house. Enchanté, good to see you.
Welcome, Anuj.
Thank you for the 250 pound. Is that pound? What is that, Rich?
2 minutes. What is that? That is two. It's £2.49.
£2.49 super sticker. Appreciate you. Smoke C says he'll be sending you an email in the morning. Anyone going to wear big rips to Issey Miyake? Out of respect, yes. Anybody going to wear? I won't be, but it's unfortunate what happened. I don't own Issey Miyake.
I don't own it anymore, which is a shame. The current version, I mean, the old version was absolutely nuclear for a freshie. It was absolutely nuclear for a fragrance generally. Like, it was huge. It would be fresh and clean all day. And then the new stuff's just watered down piss water. I do wonder what's going to happen to the brand now he's passed. I don't know if he was ever bought out, but they've released fragrances like they're going out of fashion. So I wonder if that will settle down now.
Yeah. Pat Lester and Sycamore asking for scents of the day.
Oh, my scent of the day is Paris Biarritz from Chanel.
Ooh, okay. How did you choose that?
It was quite warm today. It is a little bit humid as well. I wanted something fresh. I wanted something I could reapply 3 or 4 times. I wanted something that would be a little bit different. It's one of my most recent, it's one of my most recent purchases. Probably the second last bottle I bought. And I really like it. The citrus at the top's absolutely beautiful. Orange, tangerine, bergamot, all that good stuff. It's a really good fragrance. I actually put some on about half an hour before Eugene's got a big knife. He's sharpening it. Outrageous. What's he going to do? So he's just chopped someone up.
Do you find it eau de cologne, like a Chanel's take on an eau de cologne? Biarritz.
So I actually like their eau de cologne. I smelled it the other day, the less exclusive. Is it worth the price? No. It's batty prices. That shouldn't be it should be in a 200 ml spray bottle, but it shouldn't be in an exclusive because it is a cologne. I would really like to have a big bottle of that just so I could lather myself in it. I love those like outsized cologne spray bottles. Like, I've got a 250 ml of Cologne Royale by Dior. Not my favorite fragrance by a lot of means, and it's not the best made cologne fragrance I've got at all. But it's a huge bottle, right? And it's got a great sprayer, and you can just go mad on it all day, and you can't wear too much. I absolutely love it.
Chanel's eau de cologne lasts all day on me, all freaking day, and I prefer it in the winter, cold weather than I do in the summertime. And it's
sorry.
It's the longest lasting eau de cologne, and for me, it's worth every single penny. I think it's brilliant. It's my favorite eau de cologne of all time. I prefer it to Although I don't think it's as interesting as some of Guerlain's colognes, I prefer it to them because those are way too fleeting on me. They disappear before I know it, but I'm able to perceive Chanel's cologne all day, like all through
Yeah,
the day.
yeah, that's the sort of thing I want. I would like to. I would probably buy that if I could sell my Bois de Zile. I would replace it with eau de cologne. I would probably put the money towards the eau de cologne. I really like it. I've got some other eau de cologne type fragrances, but I really like that. I smelled
I
it the other day and I was a big fan.
I was shocked to see you were getting rid of your Bois de Zile, and I kind of questioned our friendship. I was like, "What is wrong with this? How can I be friends with this duck?" I No, all joking aside, I personally love Bois de Zile, but I can see why it's not. It's very powdery, and I imagine that's what you don't like about it, eh?
Yeah, it's the jasmine, like I
Big
like
jasmine, right?
big fuck off jasmine, big horrible bastard jasmine that hates me. I don't I like jasmine white florals. I've said loads of times, white florals remind us of death. So I try not to. I try not to. I try to stay away from it. But for me, a similar scent is Samsara by Guerlain,
Yeah,
obviously.
very, very.
Um, and if I had to choose between the two, I would go with Samsara. I just prefer it. I think it's probably got something to do with the fact that the jasmine's not as and specifically Samsara vintage Samsara EDP rather than the EDT. The EDT of the Samsara has a lot more jasmine than the EDP. The EDP's got more sandalwood and it's thicker and denser and richer, which is a strange thing to say because jasmine is all of those things. But the Samsara EDP, I've got a few bottles. I beg your pardon. And that's what I prefer by some considerable distance as well. If anybody wants a less exclusive 200 ml almost full of Bois de Zile at a good price, let us know.
What concentration?
It's the EDP because I remember you saying the EDT was absolutely scandalous with the performance, and you're not a.
They're both, you know what? They're both good. They're both really good. The EDP wears richer on me. I find the EDT a little bit more interesting, but I think the build of the EDP is richer and they're using better quality materials.
Yeah.
But I love both. It doesn't matter to me, really. I would not pay the extra money for an EDT. Like, I'm sure it's going to cost an arm and a leg more than the EDP. I wouldn't search out an EDT for what this is. I've got both. I've got 200 mil of both, and I love them both.
Outrageous.
And I love this sandalwood. The only sandalwood I would pick over this that I love more is Samsara, vintage Samsara.
Yeah.
And it's because it feels, you can feel the oils of the sandalwood, the Mysore. I'm not sure what they're using in here, but it feels richer and denser and thicker.
Yeah.
Right.
No, I understand. It's I think when you apply it, right, it's one of those weird fragrances you apply and you can actually feel it go on. You can actually, like, even if you spray it, you can feel it. It feels like it attaches itself to your skin. Like you feel as though you're covered in some kind of goo.
You know what I get? I get coconut from this, and I get like without it smelling like suntan lotion, I get a tropical vibe. I feel like Bois de Zile is wood of the islands. I feel like I'm on a friggin' tropical island, right? I get lotions and creams and powders, cosmetics, that sort of thing. And I think the coconut is coming from the actual sandalwood. I always found like a quality sandalwood to have that little bit of fruitiness to it. And I
Yeah,
get,
you can get them facets. You can get those facets from Sandalwood, definitely. Santal Messiah, similar.
yeah, right.
Um,
San Thomas, yeah. What's the other one? Even in the modern, the Australian sandalwood, you're gonna get those coconutty facets. Like I've worn Santal 33 before, and I've had somebody tell me you smell like coconut, which blew my
oh,
mind.
gorgeous.
Absolutely blew my mind. Yeah, Santal Majuscule I get coconut from as well.
Yeah, that's got the chocolate cocoa pod. That's got that cocoa sort of vibe. I get that kind of like like coconut literally has like the first four letters of coconut or cocoa. So I get this kind of, and it's like a brown nut. You remember coconuts on like nuts, um, literally nuts, and they have this kind of like all of the things in that family have like a similarity about them. This kind of like creaminess, but a powdery sort of vibe as well, which like sounds like it should clash, but it doesn't. It just works. I suppose the skill of the perfumer is which facets you want to bring out in each one. You know, like a coconut sort of vibe. You're always going to associate that with like tropical islands and
Yeah,
holidays and like, but even for me, chocolate, like obviously being from like where I'm from, chocolate doesn't occur naturally in Britain. Trust us. I've looked, and it's like I get that. I get a similar vibe from chocolate as well, like not a tropical sort of vibe, but like an slightly exotic, like the other, something that I can't get at home. Um, it always takes us away a little bit. Same with coffee. I get this sort of transportive sort of effect.
mm,
Um, it's like it can take you away to somewhere that isn't like in your everyday experience, um, which is I find extremely interesting.
there's some discussion about Seal de Gum, and they're asking which influencer has hyped up Seal de Gum because
Ramsey
who?
Ramsey just got some the other day.
You know what? I always regretted not getting a bottle of Seal de Gum. I've always wanted it, and now I guess it's impossible to find it, isn't it?
It's not. I looked for some over here because me and Ramsey been talking about it, and I was like, oh, let us have a look in like British eBay. There might be some, and I looked for it, and I was like, nope, not a drop. That shit has vanished like a fart in the wind.
Mm.
Just absolutely gone. Um, and it's a shame because I don't know anyone who's got any. And I don't know what the price would be, even if they did have someone wanting to part with it, which they probably don't. So I looked for some for Ramsey and couldn't find it, unfortunately.
Smoke C saying it was a limited release to begin with, and it was always kind of harder to find. I think it was a boutique, like a Paris MFK Paris boutique exclusive. I've never seen it on any MFK counter here.
Apparently, somebody said, yeah, Smokes is saying it was a limited release to begin with. I wonder if my local counter, because they got a bottle of Lumiere Noir, and I was like, oh, I'll have that. They give us it at a decent little price.
Seal de Gum was a pissy Jasmine, from what I remember. I wore it once.
Oh, fuck that, you can keep it.
That's what I wanted.
No chance, not for me. Pissy Jasmine. Just smelling like death.
It was a Moscow boutique online. Yeah. Yeah. It was.
Jasmine, he's sorry.
How you been? Long time since I saw you live. Been good. How have you been?
Baratrion. Hello and welcome, Baratrion. How are you? I prefer certain MFKs I can get away with, certain Francis Curtijans I can get away with. I've had this sample of Gaultier Squared or Gaultier 2 by my bedside. It was Anoush who sent me a sample of it, and I procrastinated for a while, and by the time I went to buy it, he only had a 40 ml left, which is a shame. But I'm glad I've got it. I'm looking forward to wearing that when it gets a bit cooler. Got it right here. It's such. Do you know when they say perfumers have got styles? Like, it's not something you. I mean, some people will be able to smell it straight away if you've just got like that kind of nose for it. But for me, it took a while to try and figure out. The first person's style I figured out was obviously Christopher Sheldrake's, because I was so into Serge Lutens when I started getting to know different perfumers and stuff. But Francis Curtijan's got one of the most distinctive styles, and it's a very modern style. Like, he is like, I don't hate to say it, but it's, for me, it's an accurate description. It's not an overstatement to say that Francis Curtijan probably has done more to shape the state of perfume in the last 20 years than any other single perfumer.
Good point.
It's for better or for worse. Do you know what I mean? The stuff that he has made and the directions that he has taken perfume in, and a lot of what you smell these days is based on his style. Now, whether other perfumers who are mimicking his style literally can't do it as well as he can. He's got it down to a fine art, you know. Some of his releases are better than other releases, but his style and his ability to make the weather in the perfume industry is unrivaled, and it doesn't surprise us that Dior went for him. They want somebody who can define perfume for them for the next 15, 20 years, you know. Other perfumers have done stuff like, I mean, Harold did
Aventus,
that's right, and Jacques Polge did Bleu de Chanel, which obviously started an entire craze, you know. One which Francis Curtijan has never gone into. Have you ever noticed this? Francis Curtijan hasn't released a blue fragrance.
Not outright, but a lot of his fragrances have that clean, musky signature, which feels fresh, almost like a blue.
Yeah, they're not marine though. They're not aquatic. They lack that final blueness. I know what you're saying.
That body, the gel, the shower gel.
Yeah. None of them ever get into that shower gel territory, which all the other blue fragrances like reach into. And Curtijan's like, I'm sitting smelling this G2, and it's got this kind of, it's not Baccarat Rouge, like, but you can see the foundations of Baccarat Rouge there. This musky, like slightly sweet, slightly fresh, almost laundry kind of vibe with a little twist on it. And that's what, like, these little twists are what these little, like, how he like defines, like, the structures there from all the musks and the cleanness and the freshness. But then every once in a while, he'll add just a little twist on that kind of style. There's no sort of mistaking a Francis Curtijan for me. Like, you can once you know what you're looking for, you can smell it a mile away.
I got a text yesterday from my sales assistant. I think this might be a new MFK release. and he's asking me if I want a sample of this, and I've never heard of it. It's just called 724.
I've never heard of that. I wonder what it is.
I have no clue.
Does anybody know what that?
No clue. But yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of on the fence with the whole thing. It's like I like what he does when he's being creative and unique, but I find a lot of his things are just kind of redundant and playing with the same musks over again and has like this base that he continually uses, this nitro musky base that's just really clean, inoffensive, and boring that I just can't get with it.
No, I understand. I understand exactly what you're saying. I didn't own a Kurdish until earlier this year when a friend was interested in parting with some of the ones that they had, and I bought 3 off them. I think I got Oud Satin Mood Extra, I got some Lumiere Noir, and I got it wasn't a Pom. I think it was Absolute Polar Soir.
Yeah, which is really good.
I got those 3. But there's so many other ones that I could just leave. Do you know what I mean? I could just not bother with.
Yeah.
And
especially the freshies.
Yeah, his fresher stuff's not the greatest. I actually like the original Oud that he did.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't smell anything like an Oud. It's a saffron fragrance, a massive, spicy saffron fragrance, which I actually really like. But it's totally his style, you know? It's massively his style. Just done with spice instead of, like, laundry musk. It's like I respect his stuff more than I like it. You know, it's like a matter of taste. The fact that he's had such a massive influence on perfume, despite not making very much stuff that I actually like, is it's impressive. You've got to be honest. Like, he's obviously tapped into something. You know, sort of like how Jeremy Fragrance has got like nearly 2 million subscribers, yet I can't watch any of his videos. You know.
You know, it's funny here. I connect more with Jeremy Fragrance now than when I first saw him. But we'll get back to Jeremy. A couple people calling out Grand Soir. I actually enjoy Grand Soir for an amber. I don't mind it. I like Grand Soir. It's like I prefer Grand Soir from MFK than a lot of his other things. JJ is saying Grand Soir is tepid for an amber. Pradeep saying Grand Soir is boring as fuck amber. Damn, what do you guys prefer to Grand Soir? What do you find is a better version of an amber?
I mean, the obvious one's going to be Amber Sultan, but that's probably the best amber there is.
What about Le Lion?
Well, I mean, well really? It's not an amber perfume for me. It's a labdanum perfume. It's a big labdanum perfume. I'm not a huge fan either.
Fosco coming out with left hooks. Grand Soir smells like a PDM. Oof. That's an insult.
That's a big insult. Gerjo Aragnosi. I hope I've pronounced your name right. I saw him on one of my streams, I think, the other day, and he is saying that Ambra Aurea is his favorite amber. I actually really like Ambra Aurea, but that also has a massive labdanum in it that really I find like a little bit suffocating. It's tough because I've got a sample of that by me bed as well, and I'm trying to I'm trying to come to terms with like paying for it, but I don't know. I don't know. I've tried quite a few. I would like to try the Rose from Perfume and Roma. There's just no movement there whatsoever. What you get on first blast is what you get all the way through. They are very stationary perfumes. It's oh god, they're very like I like the stuff they do. That patchouli's incredible, but somebody's just reminded us there. Dushan says, "Oh, Côte Desert is a great amber." That's true. I also think Ledge Desert is an incredible amber. That would be a good list, an amber list. Ambers were one of my first. Ambers were one of my first loves. As like when I discovered that niche existed.
But you don't like Lelion or Shalimar or
Nope,
Heritage. Consider Heritage an amber?
Heritage isn't an amber. It's a patchouli for me. Although patchoulis and ambers can cross over, you can definitely get crossover from patchouli and amber. You know,
Right.
like, and I think it's beautiful when you do that as well. Like a patchouli amber is absolutely stunning. I love that shit. But I think Shalimar and the Leon aren't necessarily ambers. I think they're labdanum perfumes, and I'm not a big labdanum fan. I've got to be honest. I've got a vintage Shalimar. I desperately want to love it. I really do. I've got a Shalimar in one of those really tall, thin bottles.
Dude, how are we friends? What brought
It's
us
mental,
together?
isn't it? It's mental, isn't it? How different we are in our sort of tastes and stuff. That's what makes it interesting. Like, there's been plenty of stuff I never would have tried if it wasn't for you saying how much you love it. And then I've tried it, and then I've tried it and didn't like it anyway. but it's like it's interesting. It broadens your horizons, doesn't it? You know what I mean?
Totally. Yeah, I never would have discovered Pavarotti if it wasn't for you.
God, I love that shit.
That's a good one.
I love that shit. Someone is sorry.
Go ahead.
No, I was just saying somebody's mentioned Avignon, and I'm still to try that. I would like to.
What do you think about more minimalistic and compact fragrances such as Avignon and Comme des Garçons or any other? I don't see Avignon as minimalistic. When I hear minimalistic, and I don't mean this as a negative, I think Jean-Claude Elena, but I like minimalistic perfumes. I like those simplicity, those airy, transparent scents that they're just weightless and they just kind of spin around you. That's my favorite style, actually. I find them very artistic. So I would say Jean-Claude Elena's Hermescence are my favorite minimalistic styles of perfume.
Have you ever smelled Kiehl's Original Musk?
I have Kiehl's Original Musk.
What do you think that's minimalistic?
I think it's minimalistic in its note breakdown, not necessarily in the structure. It's a hefty perfume. So we got to kind of define minimalistic here. It doesn't feel like there's a whole lot of transitions or progression in the perfume, but it doesn't feel empty in that sort of way. It feels like a very full perfume.
Well, it feels very dense and thick to me, but at the same time, I think that it hasn't got a lot, like you say, with the note breakdown. It's like it's love oil, or what they used to call love oil. It's essentially just like a musk, or musks, and in that way, I think you're conflating minimalism with lightness. And I think it's not necessarily the case. I think you can have dense perfumes that are very minimalistic. Not always.
Yeah, you need to define what minimalism means to you. So in this case, I find transparent perfumes like minimalistic, weightless.
Yes. Yeah. That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. I understand where you're coming from.
But you
I
can
just
also
think,
say something that doesn't have a whole lot of notes listed, minimalist. And something,
yeah,
let's say like the Gucci exclusives, they feel minimalist in that way, where they only have 2 or 3 notes. Although there's probably so much more to them than just the notes listed. But they're very full perfumes. They don't feel empty.
yeah, yeah. The I'm sort of I agree with you when you say the Hermes Essence are minimalistic. John Claude Elena does everything with a very light touch.
Mm.
And it's not, none of those are overcomplicated. I would say a Peace Marine is quite complex, especially in the context of the rest of the Hermes Essence. I beg your pardon. Um, they that reminds me a lot of Eau de Hermes, a Peace Marine. It's like a twist on Eau de Hermes. I don't know whether it's because it's got that
Absolutely.
spice.
I
It's
agree
got that
100%
spice.
with you.
Yeah, it's got that spice at the top, and then it's got this weird juxtaposition with the marine sort of, like, you wouldn't find that in nature unless you had like a restaurant next to the sea,
Yeah.
and you had like a spicy restaurant next to the sea. Um,
He
but
actually
it's
worked with a top-notch chef on that perfume to come in with the spices. Almost,
really
yeah, almost like a ratatouille or something.
outrageous. Do
Yeah,
you
but
know who? Sorry.
no, you can find it. He's done interviews talking about it, but I agree with you. I think he takes a lot from Eau de Hermes, not just in the Peace Marine, but you can see it throughout his work. I think he pays respect to Rudnitska and Eau de Hermes and kind of spreads it throughout a lot of his work. And I think he started that with Declaration. I see huge reflection of Eau de Hermes in Declaration. I see it in
Yeah,
the Peace Marine. I see bits and parts in Terre de Hermes. You know, I'm sure there's Poivre de Samarkand. You can say there's a little bit of it in there, but I love that style. Is Musk Ravageur inspired by Shalimar? To me,
oh
it's not. I don't see the
no, no, I don't know, I don't see that. But Shalimar is more labdanum. I mean, it's got vanilla in it, but I can't get away from the labdanum in it. Whereas I would say Musk Ravageur is more vanillic. You know,
yeah, yeah.
um, you could say a lot of perfumes were inspired by something like Shalimar because it's a reference, isn't it? Like I
Mm.
don't, I like, I'm not overly keen on it as a perfume, but I can still understand the massive, um, the massive effect it's had, and you could say anything of the quote oriental style unquote in that kind of everything that came after that could be said to be referencing
Sure, sure.
Shalimar,
And as much as they might share a note palette of bergamot, vanilla, leather, amber, powder, they smell nothing alike to me. Smell very
Yeah.
different. Lily, hello. Good to see you.
Have you caught this discussion that's going around now about the words Oriental? Um,
Yeah, that's been going around for quite a while now.
yeah, I was gonna say I'd like. Would you just call them ambers now instead? Like I would hate to like say something that was like I don't want to use the word if it's going to be like upsetting people. Do you know what I mean? I don't want to be like that.
Mm,
Um, so it's strange because it's not something I would ever like levy at somebody, like certainly not a person, but the word Oriental has been used about perfumes for a long time. I get both sides of it. But it might just be best to, I don't know. I don't know if the word amber is interchangeable with the word oriental.
Does it have the
You know?
same meaning?
Exactly, that's what I mean. It does not as in, because I know some people have been attacked with the word oriental, as in somebody has called them that in a derogatory way, but nobody's ever been called an amber in a derogatory way. Do you know what I mean? Apart from Amber Heard, she's been called
Oriental herd.
yeah. So, but it's like
Amber turd.
I understand. Like some people have suffered with the word oriental. Do you know what I mean? And it's like, I don't want to use it if it's like that. You know what I mean? But I don't know what you would use in its place, because I don't know if I don't know if amber's covers like the
I
whole
think amber is
breadth.
gonna settle for to replace the word, but the thing is, a lot of brands still use the word in their fragrances.
Yes, that's right. That's right.
I mean, Oriental Brûlante from Guerlain comes to mind.
Yeah.
Um, that might be discontinued. I know it's in the name of a couple of fragrances. I'm sure there's way more.
Yeah. It's like Rachel was saying here. Rachel says here, like, my husband is Asian American and he hates the word. And he is somebody who hates the word. If he's Asian American and he hates the word, and he says it equates in all its uses with the N word for his community. So it's like it's like it's like if he's offended by it, if those people, if that group of people are offended by it, then maybe best not to use it. Like,
Mm.
but I can honestly say, every time I've used it, and I've said it plenty of times on this stream now, but because I'm talking about that word, it's like I'm not trying to use it in a derogatory term. It's like racism is a lot about context, you know, um, and how you use a word. If somebody uses it in a derogatory fashion, then it's a derogatory term. If somebody's talking about the was it Agatha Christie book, like Death on the Orient Express? It's a strange topic. I don't know how I've managed to get myself into this topic, but
No,
it's
I mean,
it's
it's good to open it up to conversation if you have something to say, or some of the viewers have some input. Uh, and I know there's been people here that have been offended by the word in the chat, and some things have happened and they've never come back. And I know I've used the word in my videos as well, and it's, always meant with the best intention, but I guess that is not good enough. And I think creating awareness is what should be done.
yeah. I would say if you weren't aware of the fact that of what it means, then it's hard to like I say. I mean, with all like offensive language and stuff like that, it's very much context, you know. Um, but I would take into account the feelings of people generally. But then you've got people like Rachel and Lily saying that they don't like it, and I like those people and I respect them. And
I feel the same
if
way.
yeah,
I feel the same way.
if they would prefer not to have to listen to that, or especially not from like people that they like,
Right.
then I'm going to respect that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, you don't want to lose friends over using a word.
Yeah.
No, I get that. The word, it has meaning in the perfume world. It to me, it describes, like, when I hear the word, I know exactly what the intention is. But if it's going to hurt some of my friends, then I have to think about what I want to do going forward. You know, is it
Yeah.
worth using this word?
Yeah.
And that's what, you know, we can each decide that for ourselves, what we want to do.
No, you're right.
People try to stop being offended by words. There's that too. I mean, you're going to have so many different opinions on the subject. And
I don't
I
think
don't
there's
know.
any I don't necessarily think there's any right or wrong sort of answer, unless somebody was using the word in a derogatory context. Then I don't necessarily think I would like judge other people for using it, you know,
Right. Right.
unless they were being bastards and they were trying to hurt someone's feelings.
Yeah. I mean, it's easy to say stop being offended by words. But if I say a specific word to you and it triggers a feeling, you can't control that. Sometimes it's more than just being like saying, don't be offended. I'm sure
Yeah,
there's a specific word. If I were to say to Rich Mitch and call him a certain thing, it's going to trigger him and say, hey, I don't like that. Right. It's out of his control.
yeah. When it's used when it's used in when it's used in relation to perfume or a subset of perfumes, then you kind of know that eating that bloody watermelon with that knife is giving me the fear. Like,
Where
I'm
are
worried
you?
I'm in bed, but
What
you
do you
eating that
mean?
with you,
I haven't touched
I'm
the watermelon in 20 minutes.
I've just said, oh no, sorry, I've just like slipped back. I'm watching the stream on an old device. No, I've just seen you putting the watermelon in your mouth with the knife. I've just rewound the stream by accident on a thing. I thought you were eating watermelon again.
Right.
But no, if like everybody knows the context, it's that's the thing. It's specifically we've been talking about like racism. When you are discussing perfume, you know that you're talking about a subset of perfumes. Yeah, Dan's right. Like, I wouldn't call a person or people Oriental.
Yeah.
Would I call perfumes Oriental? Well, I would have until recently. I might just call them ambers now. I don't know.
Mm. I
Um,
think everybody's right for themselves. There is no truth to this, but you know, because we're all in different situations, like Smelly makes a good point, and so does Rachel, though. And she says, you if you don't hang out with a group of people all the time, how would you know? So it's
yeah,
going to ring true differently for everybody.
yeah. I'm not about upsetting people on purpose unless they've offended us. And then if I was going to try and upset somebody on purpose, I would make it something personal to them, not like a huge like not make like a general stereotype about like billions of people. Do you know what I mean? Um, so I wouldn't use that as a slur personally. Um, the word, I mean, I don't want to get into the etymology of the words and stuff like that, but it means like from the east. You know what I mean? So
Pradeep, we love you.
I am
Pradeep is
triggered.
triggered by the word of love. Do you hear my stomach going off?
My stomach was doing a bit of a wave earlier on. But I feel all right.
Is
I feel all right.
Caucasian offensive? I mean, I'm Caucasian and I'm not offended by it. Should I be?
I'm extremely Caucasian, me. I'm probably the most Caucasian person who ever existed. Have you seen the state of us? I'm a pale man.
You know, it's all on your sensitivity levels. My son's best friend is a man of color, and his brother calls my son a cracker, and he
All right.
just laughs it off. It's like they're cool and they're friends, and you know, they just kind of make fun of each other, and that's what they do. There's no
Yeah.
sensitivity level there.
So
But I can
like that,
understand if you were to come up to a complete stranger and say that, you're going to get a very different reaction.
yeah, it's as well, you've got to remember their age and they are experimenting, finding their way. And like, if they were to do that at work, again, it's context, you know. It's all about context, that sort of thing. Like, as long as they understand the difference between like saying that to someone that they know intimately and they know their boundaries and they know their sort of thing, then that's they're also like learning and growing, you know what I mean? It's like I say, it's very much about context. But yes, Audrey's saying that I upset her on purpose all the time. It's fantastic.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what to say. You're never going to get a...
We were talking about ambers.
You're never going to be able to satisfy everybody and make them happy.
No, that's right.
What were we talking about?
Ambers.
Big fan of ambers.
I'm a fan of ambers. Amber Sultan was my gateway fragrance. For years, I was collecting designers and stuff like that, and then all of a sudden, I smelled Amber Sultan in a shop one day, and I was like, "What is this? What is going on?"
I remember having the same reaction.
And I was just like, "Wow, this is what perfume can do." And it transported us to another place, you know. And I was like, "This is
perfume. It comes from meaning and intention, and it comes to stir the senses. That's what perfume is about. That's like when you want to hang a fragrance on the wall, you know, for people to see and observe and talk about. Smoke senses, and I don't get this reference at all. Maybe you can explain it. I was called a cabbage as a kid for being from a certain country. It was offensive, but I got over it.
So I know Smoke C lives in England, like I do. Now, the word cabbage to me in this country is a term for somebody who is like lazy. Now, it might have been used in a different context for him, because what does a cabbage do? It sits in a field all day and does nothing. You know.
Okay.
So it's like so I would say about me at the minute with my health situation that I am cabbaged, because
you say that often.
Exactly. I am cabbaged. It's literally like I am plonked down in a field. I've taken root and I'm not going anywhere. Do you know what I mean? For Smoke C, there's obviously a different context there and a different connotation. But for me, in the context that I have, it's like it means like that not much is going on, and that nothing is going to be going on. If I call someone a cabbage, it's literally like they're sitting going nowhere. They're doing nothing. Nothing's happening. You know. Plus, cabbage is disgusting. I fucking hate cabbage.
I like cabbage.
Oh, good lord! I like red cabbage.
Like cabbage salad?
Red cabbage, yeah, cabbage salad, yeah, but not the green one. Never the green
one. I like
one.
Green cabbage. I love stuffed cabbage, like cabbage rolls.
Never heard of them.
And rice and cabbage rolls. That's great. Stuffed peppers.
Stuffed peppers are nice.
Fried cabbage and sausage. Peppers. Almost like a German style sausage fried with cabbage. Oof.
Whoa. I'm not a big sausage fan either, to be honest.
Really? That surprises me.
I actually had sausage today, but like generally, I don't eat a lot of sausage. Good lord, I only get sausage from reputable places as well. The only reason I had this sausage today was because I knew the butchers where it came from. Sausages are open to abuse. Like if you get them from bad places, you will get bad sausage. Like don't buy generic sausage that comes from like a supermarket or anything like that. Only ever buy them from a reputable butcher.
So Rachel says, sorry, I don't mean to cut you off. By the way, my husband has been listening and says, huge thank you for having this conversation. He's really proud of you. Shout outs to Rachel's husband.
Shout out to Rachel and husband.
Let us
Don't
know
they
what
look
you're
happy?
wearing. Hopefully it's a nice amber.
A nice amber.
I recommend Shalimar or Musk Ravageur or
Oh
Heritage
no, Amber Sultan.
or
I don't see.
Lelion.
You said that before as well. I don't see Heritage as an amber. I really don't see Heritage as an amber.
I mean, Heritage to me is. Let's take New York Intense. It's hard to box New York Intense in a specific genre because it's got the Fougere Accord, it's got the Chypre Accord, it's got the Amber Accord. So how do you really pick what it's trying to do and who gets to decide that? Because it's got all three going.
I could put it into a bracket for you.
I don't want to hear it because I know what you're going to say. And you're going to compare it to Cabbage the same way you feel about Cabbage.
No, I'm just going to say it shines.
I know that was coming.
I do not understand. I don't like it. Bois de Portugal is far superior. I think it's the bergamot at the top of Bois de Portugal that I like. Whereas I feel like New York Intense doesn't have that kind of zing.
I get much more pleasure from New York Intense than.
I know. I saw how much you wore of it.
Portugal is awfully good as well, right? But my pleasure is with New York Intense.
Yeah, I can't. I don't like that. It's too powdery. It's got that. Habit Rouge thing going on for me. Habit Rouge is incredibly powdery on me. That said, I was talking to someone about, I think it was Ramsey, and I was talking about how Habit Rouge is very powdery and how I didn't like it and how I've got a vintage eau de toilette with the gold cap. And I decided to get it out and have a smell of it, and I sprayed it on my arm, and I was like, ooh, I don't hate that. I wish you wouldn't read that with the knife. Actually, you're going to give yourself a Chelsea smile.
What the hell does that mean?
Do you know the Joker from Dark Knight?
Mm.
That's a Chelsea smile. Where the put what the idea behind the Chelsea smile is where like some gangsters would get you, and they would like get a knife, and they would cut the side of your lips on each side, and then put a credit card in, and force it into your thing, and it would just split your cheeks. So you would have
kind of reminds me. What is it called? The smiley? If you watched American History X, where they made the dude like bite the curb, and then
that's different. That's different. That's a romper stomp. The noise of that bloke's teeth hitting the fucking concrete fucking curb was just it still lives with us. That it's an incredible piece of filmmaking. It's enough to make you
put your balls into your gut.
Oh my God in heaven! It was absolutely awful, but it was an incredible piece of filmmaking.
I know why you don't like Habit Rouge.
It's too powdery.
You don't like Shalimar. There's no way you would like Habit Rouge, right?
Go on. Why is that? Why do you think they're similar?
Habit Rouge is the male version of Shalimar. Bergamot, vanilla, leather.
Outrageous.
Powder,
ambers. Definitely.
Big ambers.
Outrageous.
I'm not surprised at all. I'm not surprised. Like, knowing your dislike for Le Lion and Shalimar, I'm not surprised. Like, because they all have a connection. There's all similarities to all these things that you don't like. So it's not necessarily that they're shit fragrances. It's just like there's something in them that you don't like.
Yeah, that powdery sort of vibe gives me grandma acoustics. You know, I get grandma vibes from that powder, if I'm being honest. Like you're like we've discussed this before. You like pastels, and you like
that's why I love
that
Chanel.
sort of thing.
I get like pastels from these powders, cosmetics, lipsticks, creams.
I prefer watercolors. Like I prefer that sort of smooth sort of, because to me powdery can be quite grainy and fine and a little bit sand like and a little bit sort of like it can be a little bit abrasive, even if it's like a smooth powder. Whereas for me, watercolors are smooth and they are sort of slick and they move and you can't tell where one ends and the other one begins, and it's just a style thing. Like you were saying earlier on, it's like how are we friends? Because like you like pastels, I like watercolors, you like powders, I like
masculine oak mosses.
yeah, it's an outrageous dynamic. It's brilliant though. I think it's one of the reasons we get on so well. Like,
What was it you said? You sent me a text earlier saying you had a nosebleed or something. And I think it said
I had a nosebleed. Too much oat moss. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. I what was it? I smelled. I think it was Rosendo Mature number 5, and I was like, that's what gave me a nosebleed. I had I genuinely had a nosebleed earlier. It was the first time in ages. I dripped on the carpet and all sorts. I was devastated. But yes,
That's what explains. Smoke C makes a point that Bois de Portugal is different to New York Intense. BDP is less powdery and less oak moss than New York Intense.
that's
Possibly.
interesting.
Possibly.
I think Bois de Portugal is less powdery. It's more smooth. It's got that kind of smoother lavender that isn't it's got that, what I don't know why I call it this, but it's like a blue lavender. I don't mean blue as in like shower gel. It's more like a smooth lavender than a powdery one. It's got this. Do you know Beau de Jour? Do you know the lavender in Beau de Jour?
I do know it very well.
That is much more of like a single lavender rather than like little particles of lavender. Like rather than being a powder, it's all one sort of like fluid lavender, like a lavender oil, rather than like a powdery lavender. And that's how I feel about Bois de Portugal. I fucking love Bois de Portugal. Dan was in here before. He put me on to Bois de Portugal. Said it was one of his favorite fragrances. This was years ago now.
He also loves New York Intense. I'd be interested in what he prefers, what his preference is.
Yeah. I just remember him talking about it, and I was like, go on, then. I'll go and smell this. And I went out and smelled it, and I was like, good God. I was like, I need to get a bottle of that. It's absolutely outrageous. What we got?
Yeah, I'm kind of glad that I gave it another chance too, because there was a time, and I agreed with Rich. Like Rich was saying, he didn't like it, and I was like, yeah, I didn't think it was all that, because the first couple times I wore it, it's like there was no magic to it, and I held on to it for years, and I kept saying, in this style, I much prefer Pour Monsieur, but I'm so glad that I went back to it. I think that's maybe, you know what? That would be a great recommendation for this Captain Al Manzano is New York Intense. I think that's something that he could get on with, because he keeps coming on here looking for an aphrodisiac or looking for a fragrance to meet new women or attract women. And he says nothing works for him like those things from the 60s and 70s, where perfume, he feels like perfume back then was much better than today. I guess he kind of holds a lot of the same beliefs that you and Ramsey have.
Yeah, but it's a styles thing as well. Like,
right.
I prefer.
I would agree. They're probably richer back then. Not necessarily better, but richer. Not even more complex, but New York Intense is something that he should try.
It's try both and see which ones he prefers. I can see Al Manzano in Beau de Jour as well. I think he would like that as a modern perfume.
Why is patchouli not listed? You know what? It's just marketing. Not everything will be listed. So, I mean, I wouldn't worry about that if it's not listed.
Yeah.
You clearly know it's there. We all know it's there. I mean, it's just not listed.
Yeah. It's this trend of putting 3 notes out with a release is just an absolute sickener for me. It's like the dumbing down of perfume. It's the TikTok world where everything only lasts for like a minute if you're lucky.
Oof.
Stuff's got to move on all the time and stuff, and it's like, well, it's like people can only remember 3 notes. It's like, well, I would rather have the option of remembering what I want to remember. Do you know what I mean?
Right. You would almost think they would benefit with a bigger note breakdown. Like, it's all marketing. I'm not sure what the idea is behind 3 notes.
It's to do with the sales, sort of the point of sale. You don't overload people with information. You give them stuff that can remember, stuff that's going to stick. The
Simplicity.
3 notes, the top, the middle, the bottom, and then that's what it smells like. It's easier for people to remember. People can latch onto it. There's the power of suggestion as well. You've got to remember, like, loads of times I've smelled a fragrance and been like, oh, I can't like sort of figure out what's in there. And then somebody will point out, oh, it's this. And you'd be like, oh, of course it is. I can smell it straight away. The first time I smelled music for a while, believe it or not, I couldn't smell the lavender. The lass in the store had to tell us that there was lavender in it. And as soon as she told us, I was just clicked straight away. Of course there's lavender in it. Of course there is. But there was like, I was blinded by like the pineapple and the caramel, and I was like, there's something very sweet in there. And it wasn't until... Sorry?
I felt the exact same way. It's the sweetness burdened everything else. It was almost like a mask for all the other good things in there.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just like, that's all I could focus on was the sweetness, was the sheerness, the sharpness of the pineapple. It almost had like a bubblegum accord. There was the caramel. It was like, oh my goodness, what the hell is this? Right. But again, once you get comfortable in it, the beauty, you start to notice the beautiful things. So it took a little bit of time, a little bit longer than I'd like, but
yeah, it took you a while to get used to music for a while, didn't it?
Yeah, it did.
It wasn't easy. It's a funny fragrance. I bought a partial. I mean, it was like 95% full. But I can see how people could have different reactions to it. You know, I could see how people could think that it was great, and I could see how people could think it was shit. I mean, I really like it. It hasn't been my go-to mall this spring and summer, and I thought it was going to be. I had plans to wear Beau de Jour, which I haven't touched this spring and summer. I had plans to wear music for a while. All these fragrances, and then you just have to go with how you feel on the day. But music for a while, that lavender, I really like that lavender that's in there. Do you know, I was talking before about lavender, like different lavender. That's a smooth lavender for me. That's a cooling, like oil, like a liquid kind of lavender rather than like a powdery kind of lavender.
Yeah, I love it. I mean, I find it dry myself. I find it a very dry mix of lavender and patchouli, and then it's kind of filled in with all those sweeter things.
Yeah.
So backup bottle is boss is here. Good to see you. It's been a while.
Outrageous. It has been a while. How you doing?
Is this the original backup bottle, boss? I know Rich has a good collection of backups. It'd be good to see.
I've got a shit ton of them
to make a comparison, but it says he hasn't kept up. Any update on when we can buy perfumes in the USA? Check back with us by the end of next week. and I'll have more to say. I don't know, right? I know the perfumes are on a cargo coming over on ship, and they're scheduled to get here by Tuesday or Wednesday. So I think that's just landing in port. I'm not sure about when they would arrive on my doorstep. Hopefully not much longer after that. So check back, let's say 10 days, and I'll have a much better idea.
Exciting.
Yeah, it is. It's everything's coming together perfectly.
Excuse me. I'm having a yawn. Stop that.
After Boy in Jersey, Beau de Jour is the best lavender.
Ooh. That is a bold statement. There are many lavenders. Have you ever smelled, oh God, the Serge Lutens one, the lavender and incense? That's what it's called. I can't remember. I think it's Lavande d'Encens or something along those lines. It's Lavender and Incense by Serge Lutens. That is a really good lavender done in the style of Serge Lutens. Sheldrake's a fucking genius, like with all the mad shit that he's pulled over the years. It's brilliant. Like, I want a bottle of Iris Silver Mist as well. I imagine you've got a bottle of that, have you?
Absolutely do.
Oh, jealous.
It's so
Really?
dry and green, vegetal.
I absolutely love it. Like, it's sensation. Have you ever tried any Naomi Good, sir?
I have not.
You need to try Nuita Bacalite. You really need to try Nuita Bacalite. It is a fantastic vegetal perfume, salty green, tuberose stem. It should tell you how good it is, the fact that I like it and it's a tuberose. I fucking despise tuberose more than Jasmine.
It's like wet ground, almost cardboardy, carroty. It's like,
which one are you talking about?
There's got to be a violet in there as well.
Are you talking about Iris Silver Mist?
Yeah, it's very sharp.
Oh, fucking look at that bottle, man.
That's the 30 ml travel.
So have you got a proper bottle of it?
No, this
like
is all I have.
Ml. Have you not? Oh my goodness. I would love that. Is that the Grazielle?
I don't know what this is, what you would call this. It's just a travel. I bought this at I think it was Saks.
Do you remember when?
Damn. We're going 5-6 years, maybe?
Yeah, it's probably the old one, like, to be honest.
I imagine it is the original.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's probably the original one, like. You should be able to get a fortune for that if you decided to sell it, but I really like Iris Silver Mist. It's a little bit metallic on me.
It is metallic. It is kind of like concretey.
Yeah,
it's very wet and sharp.
It's one of those ones that is the exception that proves the rule. I don't like metallic fragrances, but I really like Iris Silver Mist. I would love a bottle of that shit. Absolutely.
I agree.
People are talking about top lavenders. I love. Oh God, which one is it? It's a Loccitane. Loccitane do some amazing fragrances, especially for the price. But they do, I think it's Loccitane Pour Homme, or like just the original normal men's Loccitane. It is a fantastic lavender, a little bit spicy in it. They do some great fragrances. I have neglected my Loccitane fragrances again this year, which is a terrible thing because they are brilliant.
Do you? You find them fulfilling?
Yes, I do. In a very strange way, in that they're much more interesting than stuff that's 3-4 times the price. And I love that. I love that sort of thing. But they're very well made. They use great ingredients, and they're interesting. I've only got three. I've got Eau de Cage, which is like a juniper fizzy sort of fragrance. I've got, which somebody gifted me, very kind of them. I've got Eau de Beau, which is like a spicy vanilla sort of thing, and it's
Almost like a
still one.
tobacco vanilla.
Yeah, it's like that, but without the tobacco. I don't get any tobacco from it, but it's like, imagine tobacco vanilla without the tobacco. It's like a spicy vanilla sort of thing.
Yeah, like an
And then
ambery thing, yeah.
yeah, and then imagine that it's 50 quid for 100 mil, and it's fucking absolutely fucking like, that is just, there's nothing better than a bargain. And then I've got another one which is, I've got Eau de Cade, I've got the pour arm, and then I've got the Eau de Beau as well. L'Occitane's got this horrible habit of discontinuing all their best fragrances. They did it with Ambra. They did it with Ambra. They did it with Vetiver. Which other ones did they do it with? They've discontinued loads of that stuff. They do a really nice lavender as well. You can get a 300 ml eau de cologne, and it is, I mean, it lasts for like 10-15 minutes, but it's like 300 mils. You pay like 50 quid for it, and it's just beautiful if you just want to top up your smell for a while.
There, you want to talk about minimalist perfumes? I always thought that line was minimalist, but well done. I thought Vetiver was beautiful. The Loccitane Vetiver. I've never owned a Loccitane, but I always thought they were well done.
Yeah,
the Vetiver seemed really simple, but it smelled really good at the same time.
Never got a hint of who the perfumer is, though. But there's a very consistent style that runs through the house. You know,
come on,
I don't know who.
Alberto. Who else?
Alberto.
Alberto's created 5,000 fragrances in the last 3 years.
Is that how many it is? Is it?
I don't know. No.
Well, I mean, you wouldn't be surprised.
Anybody else. Let's be real here.
It wouldn't surprise us.
Are you a fan of Sunshine Man?
I got some samples a few years ago when Robes did his review of it, and I thought I really enjoyed this. I got a milky quality from it. I didn't get spice. I didn't get curry, which is what a lot of people say they get. I got a milky quality from the Immortelle, but I never bought it. I've only got 2 Amouage. One of them is Dear Man, and it's a vintage. It is a made in Oman bottle, and doesn't necessarily mean that it's vintage, but it is made in Oman. And I've got Jubilation 25, which I think is one of the best fragrances of the century.
Yeah.
But have you got it?
Sunshine Man?
Yeah.
I do. I like it. I enjoy it. It's been a while since I've worn it, but I really like it. I'm not sure if I like it as much as Eau Noir.
I love Eau Noir.
It came after Eau Noir, didn't it?
Yes, I want to say that it did.
And I almost feel like they slightly try to do the same thing.
Yeah.
They're both very large lavenders. Massive lavender, like massive perfumes. Both are very bold. They're statement makers.
Yes. Yes, if you walk into somewhere wearing either of those, people are going to know that you're the one who smells.
Yeah. They're nothing like Caron's Pronome or Chanel's Jersey, very soft, vanillic lavenders. These are very, very dense and thick and bold perfumes. I like both, but if I had to choose, I would lean Eau Noir.
Yeah, I would go with Eau Noir. I mean, I've got half a liter of that stuff. I fucking love it, like. But Eau Noir is absolutely like, you've got to think that's a Cœur de Jaune as well. And I mean, what came before Eau Noir that smelled anything like Eau Noir? It's just truly like innovative and original, you know.
Massive anise in here, massive.
And then there's spice, and then there's lavender, and there's coffee, and there's strawberry.
Strawberry
For some
curry.
insane reason, the straw just I know what I'll do. I'll just hide a strawberry in here.
Maple syrup.
It's just like Michelle said. Did you see the trio launch with the Eau Noir in a 30ml bottle? They are. I don't want to be pedantic, but they are. They're 40ml bottles.
Did you see the color of Eau Noir?
Yeah, they've taken the colorants out, haven't they?
So strange.
Why have they done that? It's one of the selling points of the fragrance. It stands out like a sore thumb against everything else.
I'm not sure if I can come to accept that Eau Noir color.
I struggle with it being a normal color. Like that's not what Eau Noir is. And it was Cœur de Jaune. It was Cœur de Jaune that asked for them to do that. There was a post on it.
Wasn't it originally released as a green color fragrance?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, when it was originally released in 2004, it came in the really thin glass bottles from the Privé, along with Bois d'Argent and Cologne Blanche, which they've really re-released all three now. And that's what Michelle's talking about with the. Did you see the trio launch with Eau Noir in the 30ml bottles? Yes, they are 40ml bottles, but that doesn't justify the price.
Yeah, backup bottle boss. Google it, and you'll see the new Eau Noir is it's like a yellow color. It's like everything else. It looks like everything else, really, and it's so unusual. It makes me uncomfortable. I'll be honest. When I saw it, I was like, oh. Not liking this.
No, I didn't like that. I mean, I don't like change at the best of times. But it's like it's like, yeah, it's the fact of what they've done, the 40 mils, man, they're fucking just what. The prices is absolutely insane. You're paying like 120 quid for 40 mils of a perfume that's probably been reformulated to the high heaven.
Do you think it'll be reformulated now? The new version, the new color will be different than what we have.
Apparently, yeah, he has. Apparently, he's tinkered with all three of them. He's modernized. Apparently, the script is that he's modernized Bois d'Argent, which is insane because
modernize. You know what that means?
Yeah, that's terrible. Is what it is. He's probably shot all over it because it wasn't his perfume to begin with. Let's not forget here. In 2017-18, when they changed the name of the collection Privé, they claimed that Bois d'Argent was a new fragrance and that it was made by Francois Demachy. And it wasn't. It was an Annick Monado perfume. And I imagine that may have... I imagine that may have upset some people in the industry. Maybe it didn't upset people in the industry. I don't know, but it upset me because it's him taking advantage of somebody else's work. You know, they're literally changing history. Yeah. And I imagine they're going to do the same thing again when Francis Cœur de Jaune re-releases this version. This is a new fragrance by Francis Cœur de Jaune. It's not a new fragrance.
And he's just not by Francis Cœur de Jaune. No, he's made one or two. He's altered a couple of things. He's modernized it, but I don't think that he should put his name behind it either.
No, you shouldn't. It's an Annick Monado perfume. It smells like an Annick Monado perfume. You know?
Yeah, Bry's been asking all evening. I'm not ignoring you, Bry, but the conversation just gets quite deep sometimes where I forget to bring this up, but he's been asking about Granville. Are you familiar with Granville?
I know of it, but I can't remember what it smells like. I've smelled it before, but I can't remember what it smells like.
Mike V says original Eau Noir always reminded me of one of those woke smoothies.
What's
You
a
mean like
woke
a
smoothie?
Slurpee?
Oh, does he mean that he actually like thinks like curry and lavender and strawberry and coffee and maple syrup all in a smoothie? Good Lord. Wow.
Massive perfume.
That
Massive
would
perfume.
just make your teeth itch, that.
So what's up, Rich? What's new with you? Like you were talking about. Wait, was this in the conversation with me or in the conversation with the stream? I don't want to.
That's
In
just
your
shoot, it's
last
fine.
stream, you talked about your purchasing.
Yes.
That was on
It
stream, right?
was on stream, yes. We also talked about it privately, but previously, and then I did discuss it on stream.
Is it okay to go there?
Yeah, of course.
All right. So you talked about cutting down your purchases.
That's right.
Is
Do you want me to say? Do you want me to take it up and then we can talk about it, or do you want to
yeah,
go?
I'll
You can
ask
go
the
far
question.
as you want.
I don't know what you want to talk about, what you don't, or if it's a
So,
secret or not, or
so I've come, I've like, so the sort of like the context to it as well is like obviously the world's going to hell in a handcart at the minute, and the price of everything's outrageous. I don't know if you've seen any British. I mean, there's no reason for you to, but apparently, like the economic news in Britain is pretty dire for the next year or two. And I have decided to pull up the drawbridge as far as purchasing is concerned. I have been thinking about it for a while. Um, I have got an incredible collection of which I absolutely love and I am very proud of. And there are a lot of fragrances that I don't know very well in my collection that I would like to get to know, such as the vintage Habit Rouge. You know, like there are a lot of people whose opinion I respect, such as yourself and other people who say Habit Rouge is one of the best fragrances ever made. Ramsey said that if he had to have a signature fragrance, he would consider Habit Rouge as it would be one. Do you know what I mean?
mm,
Um, so it's like loads of people are saying stuff like that, and I'm like, well, I've got a bottle of that. And sometimes you forget some of the perfumes you've got. Like literally every once in a while, I'll open the drawers up and I'll be like, oh fucking hell, I forgot I had that. And so I want to examine my I want to examine, I want to search, I want to discover my own collection. It doesn't hurt as well the fact that I could probably do with like not spending that kind of money on perfume while the world is turning to shit.
yeah,
I'm not gonna go hungry. I'm not gonna go like I'm not gonna go without hydration. You know what I mean? But
yeah,
it would help if I didn't spend as much money on perfume that I'm not totally in love with. I will still buy, um, and I will buy stuff that I love, but it's going to have to be at now the point, sort of like the point at which I will draw the line at perfume is this going to improve my already impressive collection? And the bar is set pretty high. Um, and me and you had been talking about this and in private, and I'd said this, and you were like, "Wow, that's like impressive, and it's something to think about." And then I went out with my friend Richie G to the store, and we had a smell. And a sales associate caught me in a moment of weakness and sold me a £300 bottle of leather oud. And I was gutted. I was devastated. I bought it and I was thinking, she was like, oh, it's been discontinued. I was like, oh my God, she's got us. And I ended up buying it, and it wasn't the original. It wasn't the original like release. It was a post. I mean, it was a 2022 bottle, but Dior repeat their batch codes. I thought there was a possibility it could have been a 2012, but I ended up with a bottle of leather oud that I really didn't need or want, And on the way home from buying it, after saying all these things to me, to you, from me to you, I've been like, oh, I'm going to cut down. You were like, this is great. I was driving home with this bottle and I was sending you voice notes like, oh my fucking God, what have I just done? And I felt pain. I was like, why have I done this? I did not need to buy this whatsoever. And yet here I am. I've come to peace with that purchase now. I've sold some. If anybody from the UK wants to buy a decant of Leather Oud, let us know, because I've got some to spare. But I've come to peace with it now. I'm going to wear it during the autumn and winter, and it is a spray bottle, whereas the other bottle I've got of Leather Oud is a splash. So I can literally just pick it up and spray it, and I really enjoy it. Those 250 mils, like the one you've got of Eau Noir, they're an absolute pleasure to spray. You know, to just pick up and wear. I love those bottles.
So, like you say, it's not financially motivated. You've got money. It's about learning the fragrances that you have and spending time with them and connecting. What are some things that you can do to resist? Like you've said, like even on the first day, you're like, I'm not buying any more fragrances. You go out and buy a 250 ml Leather Oud, and you're like, I dropped a massive bullocks. You said to me.
That's right.
Like, how are you? Like, do you have any plans to follow through? How are you going to keep yourself in line?
Well, one of the things is preparation. I've actually been thinking. I mean, I haven't been practicing this, but one of the things is I've been preparing and thinking about doing this for a long time. And this is sort of how I operate. I sort of know myself well enough to know what it takes for me to actually change. And it takes a long time, is what it does. Like I say, I don't like change. I'm a creature of habit. I like to, if I'm gonna change, I like to do it slowly because I find that if I do it slowly, it's much more likely to stick. So it becomes permanent. So I've been thinking to myself for a long time, what are going to be the parameters of what I'm going to buy, what I'm not going to buy, what are the type of things I would like to buy, what am I going to, like, my habits are going to change. And then I've been thinking, what is it, in a more sort of like emotional and fundamental and like not like overtly purchasing things. What are the things that motivate us to buy things? What am I feeling when I'm searching eBay? Like, why is it that I feel the need to always have something coming in the post? You know, whether it be a sample set, whether it be a bottle, whether it be this, that, or the other. I'm always looking forward to going and smelling stuff. What are these feelings? What is it? Is it the excitement? Is it the danger? Is it the boredom? Is it the loneliness? What is it? And like talking to people and stuff who have gone through the same thing like yourself, it makes it easier, because I recognize things in myself that you've said about yourself before, you know? That's not to say I haven't enjoyed what I've done over the past couple of years, especially like the hauls from like Anouge and stuff. Like, that shit was fire. Like, I don't regret it at all. Like I say, I've built myself an incredible. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I've built myself an incredible collection, and it was really exciting and fun. But it's time for me to change, and the fact that the economic situation, and the fact that like heating and eating is going to get so much more expensive over the next year is just like, it's just that little trigger, that little push that I needed to just say, like, yeah, I could probably do with laying off a little bit now. And when I do buy stuff, it's gonna be a big thing. You know, I'm not going to buy lots. I'm going to buy quality.
It's going
I'm
to be
going to
something
buy,
important.
yeah, and it's going to be exciting, but it's going to be, there's going to be less of it, you know?
Yeah.
Um, I'm
Yeah.
still happy. I'm still happy to buy stuff like sample sets and stuff like that because you get a lot for your money. Um, it's it's um, it's an interesting feeling, and I'm at the point that I feel ready for this. You know, I think that's extremely important as well. I don't think this is something you can force. I don't think this is something that can come from outside. Um, Sticks is right as well. Sticks makes a great point. And I did not stick to this whatsoever, but he says Rich said he would stop buying backup bottles when the new year started. He's right. It was at New Year. I distinctly remember saying to people, I'm gonna stop buying perfume. I think I said to you I wasn't gonna buy any perfume this year.
Yeah. I
I
mean, this is
wasn't
kind
ready.
of this all
Sorry, go on.
started for you much longer than you've let on to the public. You've been thinking about this for a while. You just didn't really know how to share it with people or how to approach it.
Yeah, it's that is how I've known this about myself. This is how I tend to operate. I will sit and think about something. Cabbage
Stream's
plus
over, man.
eBay equals
End the
purchase. He's
stream.
absolute. Do you know what it is? He's absolutely spot on. Sometimes I do. I feel like a head in a jar, and it's
End
like
the
I've got
stream.
access to eBay. I've got access to eBay, and it's a terrible thing. You know what
End
I
the
mean?
fucking stream.
It's but Sticks is absolutely spot on. I did like I felt like this for a while, and I know myself well enough to know that shit like this takes a long time to like bed in. You know,
Yeah, yeah.
it like for me for it to stick, it's not something. It's like people saying cold turkey. Like I can't understand how people could ever go. Um, I don't understand how people can go like cold turkey with things because that shit for me is like it's sort of like a binge, you know, binge and purge. I don't want to do the binge and purge cycle. I want to get myself to a position where I'm in a healthy place where I can buy something if I want. You
Yeah.
know, there's a bot. I like seriously like I'm ready, like coiled like a fucking spring, ready to pounce on a bottle of vintage Derby at any point. You know, if one comes up, I'm a buy it if I can get it, if it's a good one, um, because I want one and I've wanted one for a long time, and I know that I will want one until I get one, basically. Um, and it's like that will always be on the hit list, but it's stuff like oh, what can I say? It's stuff that you can just buy day to day that I don't want to be that I don't want to be I don't want to be like I don't want to be just buying stuff like Eau Sauvage Parfum, you know.
Right.
Like I can get a backup bottle of that at the minute, and I actually like the later one, which is blasphemy, really. But I like the 2017 version, and I know someone's got a bottle, and it's like 40 quid, which is really cheap. Um, and I'm like, I could get that. It's a bargain. It's really good. But the fact of the matter is, I've already got a vintage one, and I've got a full bottle of the modern one. I've got 400 other fragrances. I'm never going to wear the bottle that I've already got. What do I need a backup bottle for? You know, it's
Yeah.
like it's like you're spending money to save money, and that's not necessarily how it works. You know, I want to not spend money to save money. Um, so it's it's at a point where a lot of things have come together to make me want to change my spending habits, and not just on perfume but like lots of things. I'd like to save up a little bit of money in case any shit sort of hits the fan. um, and I would like to explore my own collection. So I've got plenty of perfumes. Me and you were discussing this. I've got plenty of perfumes to talk about on the channel for years to come. So I intend to do that. Plus, I've got loads of samples, and so, like I'll keep buying sample sets because I think they're very interesting. Like,
yeah, I think this is something that you need to figure out for yourself instead of being told or pressured by somebody else to do it. And I
yeah,
think
it's definitely something. Yeah, it's definitely something that's got to come from within. Nobody can push this shit onto you. You've got to realize this yourself.
It can't be taught. You can't be convinced. You can't be forced. You have to realize what you want to do for yourself. I've gone through the exact same thing, and I wasn't ready for it. I just wanted to keep buying and buying and buying. But I've come to the point where I feel complete. My collection is, it's very complete for me. I have everything I could possibly want. But I still enjoy buying perfumes. I'm still, there's still things out there that if I find or run into, I'd probably pick up. But it was a long process for me, a long learning process that, I was able to learn a lot about myself through. But yeah, people were telling me you need to stop buying perfumes, and it didn't make any sense to me. I was like, what do you mean? I don't have to do anything, right? Because
it almost makes you want to buy more out of spite, doesn't it? You know what I mean? Just to be like, no, look, I don't need it. What I need to do is like buy more, not less. But there's, for me, one of the moments was when I bought the Night. I bought the Night, and I was like, fucking hell, this is like a perfume I've wanted for ages. Yeah. Like, I've really wanted this perfume, and I got the original one. Me and you were going back and forth on the labels for ages. I was like, is this the original? Is this the vintage? Is this the one you sent us? And we were talking about it for ages, and then I found one in the department store where I like my local one, and I was like, I found it. This is the one. And then the girl was like, oh, I'll give you 20% off. So I got it for close at £800 and £1,000. It's actually just gone up to 1,100 quid. So I bought my bottle for £300 cheaper than what it's going for at retail now. Which was also absolute delight. You know what I mean? Like, I absolutely love that shit. But I bought the bottle of the Night, and I was like, this is like, I feel like I've like achieved something in like
you've reached the status.
Yeah, I've reached like this place in my collection now where I've got, it's easily the most expensive fragrance I own. And it's something I've wanted for ages, and I felt great when I bought it as well. And I haven't felt like that buying a perfume for a long time, like, and it reminded us of why I really loved buying perfumes. And I thought, if I can reduce the amount I buy but increase the quality of the perfumes I buy, like the Night, then that will bring me like, I will enjoy my purchasing more if I buy less but buy better. It's really been an eye-opening sort of like process for us. I see the comment on the screen. I went from audio equipment to firearms, now fragrance. I think I have OCD. It's not a bad shout,
It is.
Collecting is a thing.
It's a behavioral pattern.
Yeah. What do you feel is going to happen if you don't have all these things? How do you feel?
Nothing is going to happen, but we acquire them to make us feel better. Like, I was buying crap I didn't need, but it was to fill my void. I was connected to my existential void, and it was not a good feeling. And sometimes it would take me over, and to kind of avoid those feelings of not, just almost like feeling unworthy or not good enough, or like I had zero fulfillment in my life. I wanted to avoid that. And I'd be like thinking about, all right, let's get rid of this feeling. Let's try and make us feel good. What would make me feel good in this moment? Well, perfumes are harmless. Let's go buy a perfume because that would definitely make me feel better. Right. And that would fill the void temporarily. And when a collection gets so big, you'd be like, I kind of feel guilty spending so much money on a fragrance, but you're like, just one more. One more isn't going to hurt. But one turns into a haul of 3 or 4 or 5 expensive perfumes, and you're like, this will hold me over. I'll be good after this. I won't need any more. But that only lasts for so long. At least it did for me. And then it was just a matter of time before that void comes back, that feeling of emptiness, and be like, oh shit. Feeling uncomfortable. I feel, those weird feelings are coming up that I don't want to look inside because they're very painful and I don't want to know what they're telling me. Right. So we'll stuff those, down here and we'll mask them with more fragrance.
Yes.
I was lucky that, fragrance was kind of, I mean, it's harmless, right? Fragrance isn't going to hurt you. I wasn't harming myself. I wasn't getting drunk, and I wasn't missing days off of work, or I wasn't passed out. So it looked harmless, right?
Yeah.
But that's kind of like how I've amassed my collection before realizing, like, what is the pattern behind this? And why do I keep hiding from these feelings? What it is about these feelings that make me uncomfortable? Well, it's kind of like how society teaches us men to be as young boys, is hide those feelings, right? You're not supposed to talk about feelings or emotions. You're not supposed to be vulnerable.
Yeah. It's this whole, it's a process, it's a process. It's you have, so for me, it's not necessarily perfume I'm addicted to. It's the buying process. It's the retail aspect. It's the excitement, the anticipation, the danger, like blind buying as well. It's because you can get addicted to, you can get addicted to doing anything, because addiction is a very severe form of OCD. So it's like a repetitive soothing action, you can get addicted to like counting the stones on a fucking, like the bricks in a wall. Some people can't walk past a brick wall without counting the bricks and stuff like that, because the anxiety it brings up if you don't do that. It's a form of like control. You know what you're doing. We are like, compared to like 99% of people, like everybody in this chat knows more about fragrances. It's their thing. It's their passion. It's something that they find interesting. I'm not just saying it about me. I'm saying it about everybody. Making sense. Welcome. I can't see you, you're right, but I wish I could. I like Mikey Dinsmore. A nice man.
Keep talking. I'm right here.
Incredible voice. No, what I was going to say was it's more the retail aspect than it is the perfume aspect. The perfume is more of a hobby, is more of an interest. It's something which you can obsess over and like find out and use information that's a positive thing. But it's the buying aspect of it that I want to chill out on. I want to get much more into discovering new perfumes that I already own, which is a strange dynamic to have. Oh, excuse me whilst I hydrate Eugene's audience. And welcome. Let's see what the chat is saying. Interference, you said something earlier. You said, what you're saying is the right thing, but can't help feeling a bit of sorrow hearing you say it. I appreciate what you're saying, and there is a little bit of sorrow when I say it. I would love to go on forever buying loads of perfumes. It's been exciting, you know. But excuse me. But it's about improving, you know. It's not necessarily about where you arrive at. It's about trying to make things better, you know. At the time when I was buying all these fragrances, it was making things better because I didn't have a collection as big and as wide and varied as what I do have. And I don't feel the need to just pile on more, you know. One of the best experiences I've had in the fragrance community is getting to know a Nuge, you know, and dealing with a Nuge. A Nuge is a legend. I absolutely love the way he goes about his business. I can't recommend him highly enough. Don't get free stuff. Paid for 99% of everything I've ever had off him. He sent us stuff for like samples and stuff like that, and like included like the occasional free bottle and stuff. But it wasn't for review. It wasn't for sponsorship. It was just because I was buying so much. And like I was saying, I've had really great experiences getting to know people who sell stuff, and it's been amazing. I want to, like, I'll always be friends with Anush because he's fucking lovely, like.
Yeah.
But it's not going to be like a buying and selling sort of relationship. That goes for like most of the other sellers as well, you know. Floral Notes also asked, "What's a fragrance Rich is yet to obtain that would be the stopping point of him not buying anything after?" I don't know that there is a fragrance that I would say, right, that's it, life complete. You know, I want a vintage derby. I mean, the closest thing that I haven't got would be a vintage derby.
Do you have Pateau Pour?
I've got a couple of minis of Pateau Pour. I would love one of those as well. A vintage one, like a proper one. The prices are fucking outrageous, though. Like, that's right up there with some of the silliest prices you can pay.
That's the cost if you want to play. But
that's
yeah,
right.
I enjoy. I'm still gonna buy if Chanel or Dior or Frederic Malle or Hermes come out with a new scent. I'm still gonna pick it up. You know, I'm looking forward to that. It's kind of like the filler that I'm gonna stop. You know, the filler of just trying to fill me up, make myself feel good.
Yeah, the stuff. Yeah, I totally agree. Yeah, that is exactly. So, like an S.A. Miyake fragrance, I'm not gonna, God rest his soul, I'm not gonna go out and pick it up unless it's an original vintage of the L'Odyssée, which I would want for like nostalgia sort of purposes. Serge Luton, if I can ever find any of those 50ml bottles, I'm gonna pick them up. Same way you're gonna pick up the new Chanel.
Yeah, new concentration of Bleu de Chanel. If I like it or not, I'm probably gonna have it because I like to have my references for Chanel or Dior, like the Terre de Hermes Eau Givre. I picked it up because I'm a fan of the brand and I want it for reference. But it's the other stuff that that I don't really. I just buy for the sake of having, but don't wear.
Yes. No, I understand. That's exactly what I'm thinking. There's a few perfumes I've bought before, and I think to myself, right, why have I bought this? Like, I don't like, this is not as good as other stuff that I've got. You know.
Christian says, take it from someone who's quit smoking 22 years ago. You'll never quit buying perfumes while being drenched in it daily. You're fooling yourself. I mean, you make a good point. Yeah, nobody's saying we're going to quit completely, right?
Yeah. I want to get it to a point where I don't want to go cold turkey. I don't want to not buy perfumes anymore. Yeah. I just want to buy. I want to be much more picky.
Aware.
I want to pick up perfumes that will improve the collection rather than bulk it up. You know, like I'm at the stage now where, like, the way I think about what I need to buy has changed. I used to think I haven't got say I haven't got like I haven't got a rose perfume. I haven't got a vanilla perfume. I haven't got a perfume for this particular situation. You know, like say if I know I'm going to be walking up a hill, like I haven't got a perfume for walking up hills. Do you know what I mean? It's like that's not like that's not how I'm going to be picking the perfumes that I want to buy. You know, um, I want to be picking up some rare vintage stuff. Serge Lutens in those 50 ml bottles. I'm gonna knock up a I'm gonna knock up a hit list, but it's not going to be very long. Um, all the hauls I got were awesome. My only regret is that I didn't start making videos sooner, so I could have got some of the older hauls on video. I don't regret any of the. I mean, don't get us wrong. There are perfumes I've bought that I've thought, "What the hell have I bought that for?" Bloody Rosendo Mature number 5. That is an absolutely lamentable fragrance, but I don't regret any of like the big hauls. Like I don't like. I'm not sitting here saying like, "Oh, I regret doing this or regret doing that." No, I've loved it. I've loved every minute of it. Those walking downhill perfumes are better. Well, you see, I've got perfumes. I've got loads of perfumes for walking downhills. I just don't have any for walking up hills. You see, Navitus. Good lord. Yeah, it's about getting picked. Aram, how did you find that Lauder for Men? Have you sprayed it yet? Aram got the original Lauder for Men with the gold cap.
We had Aram on here the last stream. He was on for a good while.
Outrageous.
I think you were asleep at that time. Dude, we were on for 6 hours. And then backstage for another 4. It was like 10 hours I sat in this damn chair.
Outrageous. You were on backstage for 4 hours.
About that. I mean, I feel like I got off at 12:30 a.m. The stream started at 2:30. That's 10 hours of streaming.
Wow.
6 hours live. It must have been 4 hours backstage.
That is thick. That is
and I had so much plans for the evening to go out and do stuff.
It's easy done though, isn't it? It's easily done.
Time goes. It goes when you're having fun.
That's right. I'm gonna bail.
Good. It's a good time.
It is a good time. 2 hours. That's about what you get out of me these days.
No, man, no apologies necessary. Like I said, it was a good time. It's all good.
Are you gonna stay on?
No, I've got things to do. I've got things to do. But thanks for coming on. Thanks for sharing all that. Thanks for sharing your time. It was good connecting with you. It was good to see you. Good to talk to you. Good to see your avatar, your thumbnail.
Thank you for having us. I've thoroughly enjoyed it. Thanks for letting us vent spleen and tell everyone.
Man, that's what we're here for. We're here to share and listen and support each other and have a good time.
Right. Thank you very much.
Everybody in the chat, thanks for being here. Brian, you got here right in time. All right, guys. Good seeing you. We'll talk to you soon. Have a good night, everybody.
Night.
Bye.